Okay, everyone, still July 2nd, 2012, but this moon that I'm going to bring to you will be the Cancer new moon that'll occur July 19th, 2012 at 12:25 a.m. In this moon, because Cancer is the sign the moon rules in astrology, we can really tap into our past, into our intuition, our emotions, what we truly feel we know, where we belong, what it is we can tap into that we have a very good sense of then to use as we try to move forward. So take this moon, take this time to put out in the universe exactly from your perspective those things that emerge. It's a very emotional time always when the new moon occurs in Cancer, so allow that. Allow yourself to wander to a degree here. I think you'll like what you get here as you try to manifest and just put out into the universe what it is you believe, want, or need. Because I think that the perspective you come from really is from deep within. So take that opportunity to do that during this time. Also, we always have a lot going on. This whole summer's full of squares. We don't have as many squares this time. We have 5 of them. The full moon Capricorn, we had 10. But the squares are still potent. They're with warring planets that don't want to get along, want to try to gain control, want to try to tell you how it is, want to try to make and put systems in place to gain power. Pluto does that. Pluto likes to take us to our extreme. Pluto's going to square Mars and Uranus. Uranus is a shocking awakener planet that changes you suddenly out of the blue where you couldn't see it coming. You couldn't predict where it's going to go, but it changes your kind of energy. Pluto and Uranus, whenever they're dealing with each other, we get the soul kind of gets a great awakening. I'm not going to say the great awakening is going to be positive. I'm not going to say it's negative, because with Pluto, it likes to take it to extremes. Sometimes you need to learn the dark side to then understand the light side better. Sometimes you get to learn the light side because you've been dealing with the dark side. You need to understand that better. I do know this with Uranus. It's never as we could predict in astrology, and so it's the wild card. And so I try to stay away from saying what and how it's going to happen, but I can say this: it always leaves you better than you're found in the end. Maybe not initially as the energies expose themselves, but in the end you're left better because you're awakened. You are now more than you were. With Mars and Pluto together, Mars is this planet that rules the sign of Aries, and Mars is the pioneer, the go-getter. Let's get fired up. Let's, that male energy to try to, let's go, let's dominate. And the pitfalls of Mars, the good things about Mars is they take us to places that we may not go if we didn't have the gumption to do it. But the bad thing about it is you make a lot of mistakes, or the potential for mistakes are there because you press too hard and you don't pick up your surroundings to see where you're going and what's happened. So with that, the soul is learning some lessons here. And with this square, and usually a lot of times they're violent because Mars is explosions, fire, aggression. So we call this a warring aspect. I've talked about that in the last videos. This is continuing. Don't be afraid don't be surprised, if we see just explosions or wars or, aggression and conflict heat up here. It's about trying to gain power, see things for as they are, and I think what Mars does is it brings things to a quick realization where you can start handling it. So you may not like the devastation that happens, but you start dealing with this. All right, now I know I can't do this, so let's take another path, or let's change what we're doing. So that's in play. Saturn's going to square this sun and moon. Saturn is the great teacher, the restrictor, the keeper of time. As it squares this sun and moon, you're going to have to do a little more work than maybe the moon in its emotional state would like. But just remember that if you come from your perspective, do your part. Keep plugging, keep moving. You're going to feel restricted, feel that maybe at times it may not happen, or it could never happen. But I know this with Saturn, just keep going. So as you manifest, may not come quickly is how I'm reading this, but it will come if you stick with what it is you manifest during this time of the moon. The other aspects that I'm going to talk about here are Uranus is going to trine the Sun, Moon, and Mercury. again, Uranus is the great awakener. It's like a lightning bolt that comes in, changes you forever. You can't see it coming. You didn't know when it was going to happen, and you didn't know what the message truly is going to be. So you got to keep plugging along to figure out just what Uranus is trying to expose here. So one thing about Uranus is some people say it's the truth. I do believe that, but it awakens us and leaves us with more than we were before it enters. So as it trines, and in astrology, a trine is where the energies like or want to work together. As it trines the sun and moon in this manifesting, you'll be awakened as you go forward, and things may come to you as you manifest that you may not know or understand or can figure out initially, but just manifest anyway, because you'll see that as you get further and further away from this manifesting time, why you did it. So in other words, it's Uranus is kind of the energy that you open up the puzzle pieces and you throw them on the table, and it's like, this is too much to handle. But if you just keep going, keep putting them together, you realize that the puzzle does reveal something in the end. Uranus is kind of that way. As it trines Mercury, those two planets get along well. They're both communication. They both rule air signs. So I like the ability for you to seek the truth, find the truth, understand the truth in a new way. So I think events are going to come, whether they're through war, through politics, through whatever. I think it's going to be a tremendous time for you to understand and see the truth from a perspective that's going to be yours, unique. That's what Uranus is in the end. It's unique. Okay, Mars and Venus will be trine. So some of the lighter side here, Mars and Venus being trine will be great for male and female energy. So within, you'll be able to deal with the masculine and feminine, but also on the outside, you'll be able to, hopefully relationships can be encouraged, or communication can happen that would really benefit both of the parties involved. They're both in air signs, that's why I say communication. Also, Jupiter's riding along with Venus and has been for a while, will be for a little while longer. Just a chance for abundance here if you're careful. So make sure it's what you love, what you want, what you need. But you also got to give up old ways of being. I've talked about that as the nodes being in the Sagittarius and Gemini holding the south node. This is where Venus and Jupiter are. So releasing some of what was for how you communicated and what you learned and what you were drawn to open for new. And trust me, what I'm doing here myself is I'm really going to catapult myself into learning new, whether it be through astrology or other things, because I feel that coming. So I'm going to really manifest from that perspective. And then, of course, Jupiter will be trine Mars. So you'll take your passion and hopefully move forward, but you've got to release some of the old ways that don't resonate with you. So all this summer, I'm hoping that you learn just really who you are with all your faculties, resonate with what you feel is good and right for you, and then what isn't, release it. It's going to be key here. That includes everything. It's whether it's a belief system, a job, a boyfriend, girlfriend, just whatever, anything that's toxic to you. You're going to have to find either new ways to deal with it or release it, because it's coming to your awareness for a reason. You're tapping into all of your faculties. We need you to use them all. I don't know why you wouldn't ever use them all, but we're coming into time where the great awakening's happening, and this is like we're in the middle of it. So awaken from within, and this moon I think will be tremendous because it's new moon, sun and moon together in Cancer, tapping into all that you've worked on to have that great awakening. So good luck. Email with questions. I hope to talk to you soon.